Welcome, welcome, welcome. So tonight we are talking about 8 ways to boost your confidence. So I'd like to first of all thank you all for joining me. My name is Tamara Gosha-Roberts. I am a master certified life coach and motivational speaker. Um, if you are joining me for the first time, I would like to thank you for doing so, taking the time out to just be a part of this webinar. Um, Tonight, we're just going to go over the first half. This was part one of 8 ways to boost your confidence. So I'm going to go ahead and get right into it because our time is limited. So I hope that you all have your pen and pad ready. So if not, I'll go ahead and just wait just a moment so you can go ahead and grab something to write with so that you can take notes, okay? Hope you all have had a very productive day, very prosperous day. I hope that your day was blessed. I hope that you didn't have much negativity if you have encountered any within your day, because I know how that goes sometimes. So I'm going to go ahead and get started. So the first thing I would like to talk about is forgiving yourself. When you want to build confidence, you want to be able to forgive yourself. You want to be able to forgive yourself for the toxic things or the toxic people you've allowed in your life. And I'm talking about it can go from your parents to your children to your cousins, co-workers, anybody that you have encountered in your lifetime that was toxic and you allowed them to stay. You have to learn to forgive ourselves for doing that, because we have to understand that we don't have to tolerate those things. We don't have to tolerate those types of people. It's that sometimes we end up just getting stuck with certain things and with certain people. And so over our lifespan, we end up wasting a lot of time, and we end up taking in a lot of toxic things from um, those types of people. So we have to learn to forgive ourselves for that. We also have to learn to forgive ourselves for not putting ourselves first, because a lot of times we will allow other people's situations and their circumstances to become more important before we put what we need to be doing in our lives first. So we have to learn to forgive ourselves for not saying, hey, you're more important. Because a lot of times we just get mixed up when we get sidetracked and we get off, we lose our focus on what's more important for ourselves, because we're caring people, we're loving people, and whenever we can, we like to help those that are in need. So that's how we end up losing focus on not putting ourselves first. We also have to learn to excuse me, forgive ourselves for not knowing our worth. A lot of us honestly do not know our worth. Like, I mean, we devalue ourselves a lot. We don't allow ourselves to be who we truly are. We don't step into our full purpose, our God-given purpose. We don't use our talents sometimes to get us where we need to be. And like I said, a lot of times we just degrade ourselves. We devalue who we are. We water ourselves down, or we saturate ourselves with so many other things that are going on in the world until we forget who we really are. We have to forgive ourselves for beating ourselves up when, we could have been stronger. A lot of times you probably just, you ponder on yourself and you give yourself so much negative self-talk, and knowing that you could have been stronger in a certain situation. Like if something comes to you and you're not sure about um, what it is you need to be, focusing on, and then you just lose track, or you lose sight of the whole thing, or you just miss out on a great opportunity. You beat yourself up because you know that you could have been stronger. Like something sometimes just always comes in at the wrong time and it'll distract you. It'll just throw you off a course and you're like, man. And then you allow that to take over and then you're like, wow, did I really just allow myself to go there? Like I really just missed out on this great opportunity. I know who I am and I just let that get the best of me. And sometimes in life, we allow things to get the best of us and we beat ourselves up for not being strong at that point in time. But it's sometimes in life that you have endured so much. We endure so much sometimes until we just lose it. We lose sight of everything and we just be like, hey, it is what it is. And you just let it all out. So sometimes you just have to forgive yourself for beating up on yourself, because at some point or at that given point, you know that you could have been stronger. But it is what it is. It's life and we all go through it. We also have to learn to forgive ourselves for accepting all the bullshit that other people gave us. And we allow that to damage us and hurt us. I'm going to say that again. We have to learn to forgive ourselves for accepting the bullshit. A lot of us have accepted a lot, okay? We have accepted a lot. So you have to learn to forgive yourself for taking so much in. And once we move past forgiving ourselves, then we can allow ourselves to open up and learn to love on us again. Because that's what's so important. You have to learn to love on yourself so that you can be okay. I'm a big promoter of telling people, protect your peace. I don't care who you gotta let go. I don't care who you gotta cut off. I don't care who you gotta stop talking to. I don't care who you have to social distance with. I don't care who you have to feed with a long handled spoon. Learn to protect your peace. And then and only then can you start living. Okay. So that was number one. Forgive yourself. Okay. Moving on to the next, identifying your fears. And if you notice, I have fear, F period, E period, A period, R period, because it stands for something. The word fear, excuse me, stands for false evidence appearing real. That's what fear is. That's all fear is. Fear is false evidence appearing real. We allow our fears to come in so strong sometimes, and our fears can take us over. Like we will allow doubt to come into our hearts. We will allow doubt to come into our minds. And when it gets there, it takes a place and it takes control and it starts to lead us. And we really don't understand how to overcome it, because we're like, oh, if I make this decision, this could happen. If I do this, this could happen. But it's all false evidence, because if you set your mind on something, if you make a plan and you set a goal and you take those goals and you make them into SMART goals, you make them specific, You make them measurable, you make them achievable, you make them realistic, and you make them time framed. Do you understand me? Those are SMART goals. When you break all of those goals down and you make a plan, there is nothing, and I mean nothing, that can come into your aura and distract you unless you allow it. There is nothing that can stop your plans. You get in your face and you pray about it and you seek God's help. You make out a plan and you orchestrate it to the best of your abilities. Will it be easy? Sometimes yes. A lot of times no. Because when the devil sees you trying to do better for yourself, he's going to come in with an iron fist and he is going to try his best to demote you, devalue you, degrade you, so you cannot prevail to your highest peak, or you cannot perfect what it is you are trying to do. You have to learn to identify those fears. You have to understand the way you perceive things, the way you look at things. I feel like everything bad has a good. Everything. And I'm going to tell you why I say that, because every time you go through something bad, it don't last always, does it? You go through it, but at the end, it's always something better. So that's why everything that we perceive as bad has a good. But because it presents itself in such a hard way, we allow that fear and we allow that doubt to come in and settle down, and we get stuck. We get very stuck. And like I said, we allow all of that to come in and take place in us. And we just stop because we become fearful. You have to ask yourself sometimes, when you're faced with something bad, what happened in this situation that may have intimidated me? Sometimes things may intimidate you. And when they intimidate you, all you have to do is sit back, evaluate the situation, and then go back and see what bothers you the most and attack it. Attack it with aggression. You have to learn to believe in you, because if you don't, you can't expect anyone else to. You have to learn to identify your fears. You have to become one with your fears, okay? You have to understand that you're in charge of your life. You are in charge of your life. Yes, do you need to seek God's help? Yes. Do you need to seek his answers? Yes. Do you need to seek his attention? Yes. All of the above. But God knows your heart. When you put something into play, God is your spiritual player. You got to work with that man because he got you. You got to remain humble. You got to remain focused on what it is. Don't allow man to come in and deter or hinder you from moving forward in your life, because it's possible, okay? So those that was identifying your fear. False evidence appearing real. That's all it is. False evidence appearing real. Identify your fears. The next topic we're going to go over is putting the time in. You have to put the time in. You want to boost your confidence, you have to put the time in. If you want to change your life, you have to change what you think. Okay? You want to change your life, change what you think. No matter how big the problem is, and no matter how overwhelming a situation might seem, it's always um, controllable. Negative words may speak to you, and they will speak to you out loud, very loud. But no matter the situation, you can control it. You can control it. Okay? Whatever it is that's bringing you down, you have to know that sometimes you got to go in the offensive mode. And a lot of times you have to talk to yourself. When you're tired, you talk to yourself. You better look, listen, devil, listen, fears, listen, devil. I know you're there, and I know what you're trying to do, and I know you hear me, but it ain't gonna work, okay? Because I'm in control here. I get to choose what I go through and what I don't. I get to choose what enters my mind and what doesn't. And I get to choose the words that are coming out of my mouth. You understand what I'm saying? Sometimes you gotta talk to your fears. You gotta give yourself that pep talk. Because if you go to friends, if you go to family or coworkers or whoever, they're gonna tell you all the negative stuff that you don't need to be hearing. And because the way you feeling, you're gonna coincide with it. That's what you're gonna do. You're gonna coincide with what they're saying. That's not the way to go. It's just not. So while you put in the time, you can't master your confidence if you don't put in the work. How do you expect to get better at something if you don't put in the work? I mean, like, honestly, you got to give yourself those pep talks. You have to write affirmations for yourself daily. And one thing I teach my clients, this is actually an exercise that I seriously recommend for them. When they're trying to be positive, I need you to get some sticky notes, and I need you to write out affirmations. And I need you to take these affirmations and place them everywhere. When I say everywhere, I mean everywhere that your face or your eyes are always lingering. I don't care if it's the refrigerator, I don't care if it's your bathroom mirror, I don't care if it's your headboard, in your car, on the dashboard, over the radio, where at your office, if you have a cubicle, put them up. I need you to remind yourself on a daily basis how important you are, how wonderful you are, how beautiful or handsome you are. You understand what I'm saying? I need you to do this for yourself. This is putting in the work. If you know you need to lose weight, don't go around and continue to feed things into your body that you know are not nutritional for you, are not healthy for you, are not going to get you to where you need to be if you want to become thinner. You have to learn to do things. You got to learn to exercise on a regular basis. You got to learn to drink plenty of water on a regular basis. I mean, and I'm telling you this because y'all, I had to train myself. I literally had to train myself to count calories and to take my daily intake of water in every day. And I did it because I'm on a weight loss journey. My goal is 120 pounds for the year. Okay. I said 120 pounds, I wanted to go for the year. So I gave myself a year. And then instead of me focusing on the 120 pounds as a whole, because 120 pounds is a lot of weight. But instead of focusing on such a big number, I took that 120 pounds and divided it by the 12 months of the year. Well, on average, that's about 8 to 10 pounds a month. So guess what? For me, that's way more manageable, way more manageable. So that allowed me to say, hey, you need to do what you need to do to stay on track to lose your 8 to 10 pounds a month. And so what I did was I set goals for myself. I wrote out a plan for myself. And so every week I check in with myself, I weigh myself, and I move on. So by the end of my 30 days, guess what I do? I get me a micro win. I am micro winning. So by the end of this year, I'm going to have 12 micro wins because I'm determined to put in the work. I set my goal, I set my plan, and I'm pushing for it. I'm striving for it. I'm every day reminding myself, Tam, this is what you need to do. So that's one way that you put in the work. Because like I said, if you don't put in the work and if you don't believe in yourself, how do you expect to become good at recognizing when to boost your confidence if you don't practice? You gotta practice. Practice makes perfect. I'm telling y'all, like some of y'all got low self-esteem. You gotta know when to boost your presence, boost your confidence when you're walking in a room. A lot of y'all walk in rooms real quiet. Not me. I'm gonna walk in there and I'm gonna walk like a stallion, baby. I don't care. I'm gonna walk in there like a my confidence is gonna be through the roof. I don't care who look, I don't care who don't, I don't care who whisper, I don't care who chickles. I really don't care. Because when I go somewhere, I'm not dressing to impress nobody. If I go somewhere, I'm dressed to satisfy myself. And then when I go somewhere, I'm going to have me a time for me. That's my enjoyment. Because we live in a world full of haters and negative people. I mean, y'all, they are out there. They're out there like no other. So guess what? It is what it is, and let them do what they want to do. Let them say what they want to say. But baby, when I walk in a room, I don't care. I'm walking in because I am who I am. And I'm going to walk out who I am. That's how you have to recognize and build your confidence. You have to practice. Practice makes perfect. And I mean it. You walk with your head held high, knowing you are who you are. And so that is putting the time in. So the next thing we're going to talk about is stop comparing yourself. Seriously. Stop comparing yourself. Y'all, we live in a competitive world. I know we do. I know we do. Society has made you feel like you got to keep up with the Joneses. You got to do this, you got to do that. You got to dress this way, you got to talk this way, you got to look this way, you got to have this type of car, you got to live in this type of house, you got to have this type of job, your bank account. Whew, I could go on, and I mean on and on. But let me tell you something. Now, let me tell you something. Each of us has a unique mark to make on the world. And when we get caught up in comparing ourselves to others, it only leaves us feeling less than or not equal in some way and dimensions our capacity to make the impact we alone can make. You understand? Like, it just leaves us feeling like we're not good enough. Stop comparing yourselves. When you compare yourself to other people, it's unfair. You gotta stop putting yourself in somebody's chapter 18 when you on your chapter 1. How can you compare your life to somebody who's been through the ups and downs, the ins and outs, the back and the forth, and you just beginning? How can you compare yourself? It's unfair. Seriously. Seriously unfair. When you are weak, other people might be strong. You might not be able to go through the test of time that they went through. You understand? Some people go through some things and they pros at it. They can take it. Some people out here are pain freaks. They really are. They're able to go through that. Let them keep going through it. Stop comparing yourself. Their lifestyle is not your lifestyle. Where their lifestyle stands, it stands. Your position to someone who's been in the league a long time does not fit, does not stand for anything. Stop comparing yourselves. Seriously. You understand what I'm saying? Please stop comparing yourselves. Comparing yourself to someone else and their lifestyle, the way they carry themselves, the way they walk, the way they talk, is no dimension for you. At the end of the day, you have to do what's best for you. You have to take your time, realize who you are, what you stand for, what is your God-given purpose. Recognize that. You have to seriously recognize that. And when you recognize that, then you can move on to bigger and greater. But to sit around and compare yourself, I wish I had this. I wish, boy, they doing good over there. I'm going to tell y'all, a lot of y'all get caught up in the social media phase of life. Everybody don't post who they pose to be. Everyone does not post who they pose to be. I can pose next to a Lamborghini, put a picture up, no caption. And because we live in such a very visionary world, guess what? Everybody in the world swear I got a brand new Lamborghini. It ain't even the case. I just put my hands on something nice. That's it. I can go stand in front of a brand new house, take a picture. Ooh, she coming up good. I love that house. I didn't say that was mine. We got to stop comparing ourselves, because every post you see don't mean everybody doing good. Because the way I see it, anybody that's out here making that almighty dollar, anybody that's out here balling like this, they say they're doing, they don't have time for social media. They don't have time to post all day long like they do. So you got to be mindful of what people post. Yeah, people have their happy moments. They get a little break. They get a couple of $1,000 and they run out and they just see the world and be like, "Whoo, I'm happy." Okay, all well and good. There's nothing wrong with enjoying yourself. But don't make yourself feel like you got to compare yourself to somebody just because they went to the beach and you haven't been to the beach. Go to the beach. You can do it. Go to the beach. Get in the car and take a ride. Call one of your partners and say, "Hey, let's go out here for, just for a little bit." And because the thing about it in life, we don't enjoy ourselves enough. We don't celebrate ourselves enough. That's another major issue. We do not celebrate ourselves enough. I don't care if your boss told you did a good job and you think you didn't. Guess what? Somebody saw enough in you to tell you you did a good job. So guess what? Celebrate yourself. Celebrate yourself. It does not hurt. If you lose 2 pounds, it ain't much to the world, but it's a hell of a lot to you. Them 2 pounds less. Celebrate yourself. If you started saving money on a regular basis, celebrate yourself. If you stop being in an abusive relationship, celebrate yourself. If you say no, celebrate yourself. There's nothing wrong with it. But please stop comparing your life to others that have been in the game a long, long time. Because I tell you one thing, some people know how to make their life look real good. And on the inside, they tore up. They tore up from the floor up and they hurting. And some of them probably can't even get past some of the things that you can endure in your life because they don't even know how. They just barely making it, but they make it look real good. So until you really know somebody's story, don't become jealous or envious of it. If you see somebody doing good, what you can do is say, hey, I know that can be me, and get your game in order. But to sit and compare your life to somebody else's lifestyle, it's not worth it. So this is part 1 of 8 ways to boost your confidence. Step 1 was forgive yourself. Step 2 was identify your fear, false evidence appearing real. Step 3 was putting the time in. And step 4, stop comparing yourself. Seriously. My name is Tamara Gosha-Roberts. I am your instructor for the 8 ways to boost your confidence. It was a pleasure being with you all this evening. So I did record this seminar and I will take and maybe upload it on a couple of my personal pages for the viewing of those who don't have Zoom or who couldn't join me live. So until next time, stay strong, stay committed, and know that there is always something to be thankful for. When you get time, please go to my YouTube channel, Tamara Gosha-Roberts, click the like and subscribe, and you'll catch all the videos that I have when I talk about any and everything. You all have a blessed and wonderful evening. I will be posting part 2, the date, time, and signing information. So see you next time.